Good evening. I'm going to call to order our Monday, August 22nd regular school board meeting. If you could rise for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Board members, do we have any, or superintendent, changes, amendments, additions, deletions?
No, ma'am.
No, everybody good?
I have a few. You have a revised HR personnel list. It was added to 9.01 today, and you have a copy of that. Policy 8420, emergency management, emergency preparedness, and emergency response agencies. We are pulling that it's item 11 from item 11.03 to be returning to you at a later date. And you have a revised policy 6152, student fees, fines, and charges, the red line version and a clean copy that's been added to 11.03, and you have a copy of that one as well.
Okay, updated. It's already there. It's just updated. Okay,
Correct.
okay. Board member, you guys are all good? Okay, perfect. Approval of the minutes, superintendent?
I recommend approval of the minutes from the special meeting, public hearing on instructional materials, July 25th, 2022, special meeting and public hearing for the tentative budget, July 25th, 2022, and the regular school board meeting, July 25th, 2022, and the special school board meeting, August 8th, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are on representation. I believe we have Mrs. Cockcroft joining us for Attendance Awareness Month.
Good evening. I am here tonight to present to you the proclamation of September 2022 as Attendance Awareness Month. Whereas the COVID-19 pandemic and other crises have eroded positive conditions for learning and created an absenteeism crisis, whereas chronic absence, missing 10% or more of school, alerts schools, community partners, and families that one or more positive conditions for learning are not in place, whereas students are more likely to attend school when positive conditions for learning, physical and emotional health and safety, a sense of belonging, connection, and support, academic challenge and engagement, and adult peers with social emotional competency are in place, whereas the impact of absenteeism and punitive approaches to school discipline contribute to the achievement gap that separates students living in low-income communities and many students of color from their peers who may have more resources to make up for lost learning time in the classroom, whereas showing up for school is an opportunity for students to build routines that can create a sense of safety and belonging, increase engagement, and develop trusting relationships with peers, teachers, and school staff that increase engagement and motivate them to participate in learning. Whereas reducing absenteeism requires taking a comprehensive approach that begins with prevention and early intervention and adopting trauma-informed approaches rather than responding with punitive action. Whereas improving attendance and reducing absenteeism takes schools, families, and community partners working together to identify and address factors contributing to students missing school, particularly a lack of digital access, mental and physical health services, and access to basic economic supports, including food and housing. Whereas partnering with students and families to monitor attendance, as well as understand and address barriers to attendance, requires building and sustaining caring relationships and regular communications in the home language spoken by families. Whereas research found even before the pandemic that families had high aspirations for their children, yet faced significant barriers in getting their children to school or lacked the knowledge that showing up every day, nearly every day to school was crucial to academic achievement. Whereas taking attendance daily in a consistent manner is essential to identifying when students begin to miss too much school. Whereas taking a positive problem-solving approach to reducing absenteeism requires expanding data to include reviewing chronic absence and attendance data for in-person and remote learning, availability of working contact information for families, connectivity, devices and internet, and positive relationships. Whereas promoting attendance requires noticing as soon as possible when students are starting to miss too much school in order to engage students and families, identify and offer needed support and early intervention resources. Whereas ensuring an equal opportunity to learn requires using data to detect high levels of absenteeism and missed opportunities to learn by school, grade, and student population. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Lake County Schools stands with the nation in recognizing September as Attendance Awareness Month. We hereby commit to focusing on reducing absenteeism and addressing the factors that cause students to miss school in order to ensure all children an opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. We recognize that we must work together to engage students and families and send the message that learning can and must continue.
Great, thank you. Superintendent, did you have a recommendation about our Attendance Awareness Month?
I do. I recommend approval of the proclamation for Attendance Awareness Month 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Thank you, Mrs. Cockcroft, for coming. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect, thank you. Okay, we are at public input. I have 3 cards. Kathy Smith, you are up.
First tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say, welcome everybody, at beginning of the school year, of course. I think we started off pretty well this year and had a great opening to the school year. We just had a great meeting with a couple leadership, and we are on the move for our teacher advisory committee. So I think we have everything going, and teachers should receive some emails very soon as to filling out an application and having some meetings to help out with grading and intervention and student discipline. We'll have some protocols and things we can kind of follow. We also have, pretty soon we'll be receiving some emails for our ratification vote, which will be September the 7th. And we will go from there. Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm excited about those teacher focus groups, so that's exciting to hear. Kim Cronin.
Good evening, board members. Came tonight to let you know that we did do our ratification vote last week. It was overwhelmingly supported, so that will be coming to you, I guess, your next board meeting. So I did give you all a copy of our pay scale. So the 6% raise was a generous raise. The $15 starting pay is a good starting pay for some of our lower paid employees. And it was a difficult year to try to bargain this and put the $15 an hour in there, okay? So this pay scale doesn't look very good, though. So we do need to work on the pay scale, because right now you can see that $15 goes all the way across the board from our bus monitors all the way up to pay grade 13, which is our electricians and HVAC guys. So that's not really a good thing. There's no higher pay that separates the skill levels or experience pay or our employees that are supervisory. Everybody is at $15. I had talked with one custodian during the ratification vote, and he said, I've been here for 20 years. And he's making $15.21. So we have to look at the pay going across the pay scale, and we have to look at some of those higher up $15 when they get to index 10, 11, and 12. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you a little bit about tonight is bus drivers. So right now they're overwhelmed. Kids are getting to school late. So I was hoping that we would have advertised the $1,000 sign-on bonus and maybe the critical shortage bonus once you guys approve this contract. I know Mr. Dodds has rode on a school bus. I think you all need to take a turn on a school bus and let me pick which one you get a ride on. I got to a bus lot Friday to pick up a box for a vote there, and we had police there, we had everybody there. The bus driver was quitting. He was having water bottles thrown at him as he was driving down the road. It's one thing to pay people enough money, but for somebody to get on a bus with that type of behavior is not safe for the students, for the bus driver, and it's not really a good job to have. So we need to make sure the discipline for these students is being taken care of. That will help you get more bus drivers, I believe, because this gentleman was quitting. They were trying to talk him out of it Friday night when I was there, and I haven't touched base with them since. But so that's something we need to look at. But that's really about it. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Cronin. Banks.
Superintendent, board, distinguished guests, welcome to August. Every one of us in this room has a teacher story, a story where a teacher has reached inside of us and pulled out our dreams, pulled out that one word, possibility, and shown it to us. Each one of us has a story about a teacher, Dr. Holland, Dr. Cody, Mrs. Pritchard, who has imprinted upon us, who had shown us how to open our eyes, our hearts, our minds to new and beautiful things, things like theater, art, geometry, things like science. Each one of us has a story, and my story is Miss Belloc. First day of class, 7th grade, first period. She begins by saying, "I have a joke, class." What did the little tree say to the big tree? Answer, "Gee, I'm a tree." And that was the first day of geometry. Since we are starting right now in, actually 2 weeks ago, Wednesday will be 2 weeks, of beginning a new school year and beginning a new year of education, I just want to welcome the teachers back to school, and I want to thank the teachers who are going to be imprinting on our children, our grandchildren, possibly our great-grandchildren. Thank you, teachers. My name's Banks.
Thank you, sir. All right, we are on our attorney's report. Nothing, Mr. Johnson? Okay, thank you. So we are on our consent agenda?
Yes, I recommend approval of consent agenda items 8.01 to 10.13.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, we have a recommended order for 11.01.
Yes, Madam Chairman, 11.01 is the consideration of a recommended order in the matter of the employee Catherine Santiago. In this particular recommended order, completed by Mrs. Cunningham as the hearing officer for this case, reflects the conclusion that the school board has just cause to terminate this employee and approves the superintendent's recommendation that was earlier given to the board. At this point in time, the board's options are to, one, accept the recommended order as written and move for approval and acceptance of that order. Number two, modify the order in some way by reference to the record, and then as a result of those modifications, come up with any changes in the particular facts or findings of law that were used in this case. For the board's information, there was an opportunity given to either party, the district or the employee, to offer exceptions to the way that the recommended order was written or to the content of the recommended order. Neither party took use of those particular opportunities to offer exceptions, and there are none been filed to date. So with that, in this case, the superintendent does not make a recommendation since she was one of the two parties. So we could go to the other board to take action either in favor or against the recommendation at this time.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation and the
No, it's not
recommendation.
the superintendent's recommendation, it's the recommendation of the hearing officer.
I then amend it, that we make it, that we accept the recommendation of the hearing officer.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Johnson. We have a public hearing on our final approval policy 2605. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am. The matter before the board is final approval of policy 2605, research and evaluation. If there's anyone here this evening that wishes to speak to this policy, please come forward to the podium at this time. I don't see anyone coming forward. Madam Chairman, believe it appropriate to close the public hearing.
Superintendent?
I recommend final approval of policy 2605, research and evaluation.
So moved.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, we have a big lift. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am. Item 1103 is a tentative approval of a number of policies. Before we begin, I'd like to ask if any board member has any objection to handling all of the policies, which I believe number about 13 at one time.
Board? Nope, no objections.
Then the matter before the board are the revisions, the approval of the tentative revisions to the following policies. 0100 definitions, 0131 legislative policymaking, 0161 parliamentary authority, 0164 notice of meetings, 0166 meetings, 0165.1 agendas, 0166 executive session, 0166.1 workshops, 2260 non-discrimination and access to equal opportunity, equal educational opportunity, 2410 school health services, 5517 anti-discrimination harassment students, 570 student parent rights, 5780.01 parent student rights, parents' bill of rights, 6152 student fees, fines, and charges, 8406 reports of suspicious activity and potential threats to schools, 8420 emergency management, emergency preparedness, and emergency response agencies, 8330 student records, 8452 automated external defibrillators, AEDs, and 8500 food service program. Is there anyone here this evening that wishes to speak to any one of these policy revisions? Please come forward to the podium at this time.
I'm not really sure what the food service one is because it says staff members. So this is only the first reading?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I got time to check it out. Thank you.
Yes, policy 8420, which was one of those was pulled for no action this evening.
Any other members of the audience wish to speak to any of the policies? Madam Chairman, seeing no one come forward, I believe it appropriate to close the public hearing.
Recommend tentative approval of the policies stated by Mr. Johnson with the exclusion of 8420 emergency management.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Okay, Superintendent.
So tonight is a historical night. So one of the items 10.02 that the board approved is Lake County's very first application for an International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. That deserves a round of applause. So I want to thank Mr. Stein, principal at Tavares High School, and Ms. Bonnie Watkins, who will be the IB instructor or coordinator for the school, for being here tonight, Ms. Ellis and her department for all their work to bring this to fruition. We know it's a planning year, lots of work has already gone into this, and we just look forward to amazing things happening within this program. So thank you for being the first, and thank you, board, for approving that this evening. Also tonight is item 10.11, which was approved by the board. It's the Library Media Center Program Guidelines. And we have several of our media specialists here who, along with the leadership of Ms. Kelly Dodd and Lainey Obando, spent countless hours this summer putting together this new Media Center Program Guidelines that you approved tonight. And I want to thank you all for your tremendous work on this. It was a lot of work, and I'm sure you can all attest to that. The guidelines ensure that the collections in our media centers are based on student interest, support our standards and curriculum and are in compliance with all the new state laws. So a lot of work. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for your work on this project. Also, I just want to let the board and the public know, you already know we're growing. So if you, just in comparison, we ended the school year last year with just right around 38,000 students, and today we had 41,600. So we are growing, and so we're just want to thank everyone for an amazing start to this school year. It's just like the years past, it always comes with its challenges. They were different this year, and I can tell you there's a lot more normalcy in our schools. I've been in a number of schools, and I know you all have as well, and there's some great things happening for all of our kids. So I just want to thank you all for a great start to the school year. And then this week, on Wednesday, we will have our fourth groundbreaking ceremony for Leesburg High School's Construction Academy in partnership with Habitat for Humanity. That's always an exciting day. And that's going to be followed up on Friday with South Lake's groundbreaking for their house with Habitat. So those are at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you need more information on those, we look forward to going out and celebrating in the early morning before it gets too hot with these construction programs. So I had 2 letters of condolence before I end tonight. First of all, Matthew Epp, he's the assistant principal at Windy Hill Middle School, lost his grandmother, Barbara Epp, and teacher Kathy Wood from Lake Hills lost her fiance, Marty Leggett. Condolences to those families.
Thank you, Superintendent. Okay. Mr. Mathias?
Mine will be brief because I will have to tell you that we've had an amazing start of the school year, and thanks to all the teachers and staff, to the district and the leadership of the superintendent. I had no emails, not one. Amazing. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Mr. Brandyberg?
Well, the superintendent stole some of my comments, so that'll make it quicker and easier. But I echo a lot of what Bill said as well. I've had a few emails, but nothing too crazy. It's been a great start to the year as well. But wanted to brag on Leesburg High School for a second. Last year, we had 424 exams from the ACE certification passed, which amounted to 1,276 earned college credits. 147 seniors graduated with college credits through Cambridge, and 158 cohorted students are seeking their ACE diplomas right now. So that program has taken off tremendously at Leesburg High School. Looking forward to more success there, and looking forward to the groundbreaking on Wednesday on Habitat House number 4.
Thank you. Mrs. Cunningham?
Good evening. I have had a wonderful last 2 weeks, but first I want to say that I concur with the superintendent. I feel extremely special because Mr. Stein and Ms. Watkins gave me a really close-up and in-person overview of the baccalaureate program, and I am absolutely excited and looking forward to it opening. And I would tell you that I have very much confidence in the two of them. During our meeting, they definitely taught me that they have things, they know what's going on, and they're going to do a wonderful job. I'd also like to express my gratitude to Chrissy Stiles, the mayor of Mount Dora. There was supposed to have been a teacher breakfast, and something happened with the chamber, and they were unable to carry it out. And she called me the night before, and she did it all by herself, and I was very, very impressed. I did attend, and she and one other person managed to feed all the schools in that area with the exception of Sorrento, and they had something for them on their campus because of the size of the building where they were holding it. So that, along with, I had the pleasure of being at Leesburg High School during their faculty meeting and sharing my why with them. That's always a good time to meet with teachers and be able to share with them. And I also would like to express my appreciation. We have Reverend Mike Watkins in the audience. He, along with Cedric Scott and some other people, had a back-to-school celebration in Mount Dora. This is the second year. It wasn't just for Mount Dora. It was actually for the entire Lake County family. Mrs. Luke and I had the honor of being there and being a part of it, and I can say that I think we both enjoyed ourselves, and we certainly want to express gratitude to you, sir. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. Cunningham. Mr. Wright?
Yes, I certainly found the start of school very exciting. Watching everybody's first day pictures hit our social media was very thrilling to watch all those happy faces return to classes, both students and faculty. I had a chance to go visit all 9 of the schools in my district, and that was very exciting to do so, and to see just so many cheerful, happy faces, and so many teachers and administrators and the rest of our staff out there just so warmly welcoming the students. I did have a few emails here and there with some unique situations, whether somebody was dissatisfied with their zoned high school or transportation confusion or students not being enrolled. And so my thanks to the district, because every single one of those was resolved so quickly once it came to our attention. And so I appreciated those efforts. There was one of those parents even was able to meet one-on-one with the school counselor during like the day before school, when I know they've got a million things going on. They met one-on-one so the counselor could provide the comfort, hey, this is your kid's in high school and we're going to take care of them. So that kind of attention to service and detail is certainly meaningful, and I'm thankful for that, because when you talk about 41,000 students to be able to take that kind of time out, that's significant. Sometimes you get a meeting where you just don't even realize how many good things occurred, because it's all buried in the consent agenda. And I had, some nods to praise the media center guidelines. A lot of work I know went into that. Normally I'm the guy who, when you get a document that large, I find something to pick at. And it was perfect. So well done on that. Excited about playgrounds and athletic courts. I know that we've been wanting to see that part of our capital plan for so long. It's there. Here we've got a policy through first reading tonight where we've pledged ourselves as a school board that we're going to provide all the instructional materials for students, that we're not going to charge them for those sorts of things in the future. I think that's pretty significant, particularly when you think about our funding level. And then the IB was, for me, a big kind of personal one. When I first entered this board in 2014, I was pushing hard on this one. That was my crusade, and didn't always have the support of the board at the time to bring this, but as a former graduate of an IB program, I just know the opportunities that await the students that are going to enter that program. So to Various High School, I'm so excited for you that you get to be the ones to bring it. I'm thankful to this board for supporting it, because I know it's going to do wonderful bits of good for our students. So thank you all for all this tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Dodd. Tonight's one of the examples of why I don't like to go last. So I had Mrs. Gibson and Mrs. Purdom written down as well, and thank you for your work in that department. I also had Mrs. Watkins and Mr. Stein written down, so you'll hear it from the entire board. We're just super proud of the work that's being done in the district. And I guess I will just add to that I appreciate the patience with the car rider lines. I know that in the beginning they're a little bit long and excessive, but we're working on it. They've already gotten better. I've already seen significant improvement. So I know that's about the only email I got, and it was resolved. So good work. Good work. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.